From public land sale details to questionable dev hires, and from virtual malls to VR concerts. Stick around while we talk about everything going on this week in the world of virtual land and metaverses. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Bull Combo. I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you're having a fantastic day. And today we're going to be talking about everything going on this week in the world of virtual land and metaverses. But before we get started, if you guys like metaverse conversations, if you're interested in virtual land platforms, if you find the idea of blockchain apps and new blockchain platforms interesting, I definitely recommend subscribing to the channel. That's a lot of the content I cover here, guys. If you find some value from that, I recommend hanging out and checking out what I post. It's been 1 week since the NFT giveaway announcement, and that means we need to announce the winners for this week's giveaway. So without any further delay, guys, give a huge shout out and a big congratulations to Paul Archer and Nomad with Guitar. Congratulations to both of you. Just make sure to reach out to me on Discord or Twitter, and we can handle making sure both of you guys get those NFTs transferred over. All right, guys, so for right now, for this week's announcement, we're going to be doing something similar. I'm going to still be giving away some NFTs because I have a few I would like to give away here to the community. But we're going to make the entry details a little bit easier. I didn't have a lot of entries last week, and I think that's because the entry details were really specific and required that you included your Twitter handle. So this week, we're going to make it a little bit easier. All you have to do is be subscribed to the channel, like this video, and just comment down below. Whatever you comment with, that'll automatically get you entered into the giveaway. And then next week, I'll be choosing at minimum 2 winners, maybe 3, depending upon how many people enter. So we'll go from there, and some of you guys will have a chance to win an NFT. So make sure to get entered into that giveaway, guys. Also, guys, I want to do something a little special when we hit the 5,000 sub mark. So as we get a little bit closer, I probably will announce a giveaway leading up to it. That will probably be the biggest giveaway I've ever done on the channel. It's going to include a few things, including some real-world items, possibly. So make sure to keep an eye out for that in the near future, and make sure to enter this week's giveaway to have a chance to win one of those NFTs. All right, guys, so I know I've changed the format of this a little bit, and previously it was an Earth2 weekly update video. So for those of you that might be caught off guard, I am going to be continuing to include Earth2 in these weekly updates, and for now I'm going to make sure that they're at the beginning. So it'll be the first thing I cover here in the video. That way, if you guys want to just see what's going on in Earth2, you're welcome to watch to that point. If you guys want to see what else is going on in the world of metaverses and virtual land, you can hang out all the way through the end of the video. So let's jump right into it. So Nathaniel posted a brand new video on the Earth2 official YouTube this week. And while it was a short video, the point of the video was to show off terrain manipulation. Basically, the video consisted of a buggy driving across the Earth2 terrain. And while many people were kind of fixated on the presence of the buggy in the video and stuff, from what I understand, the main intent and the main purpose of the video was to show the environment loading in real time, the frame rate performance, and the deformation of the land based on how the vehicle moved across it. And that was really the intention of this, along with a basic display of some of the physics that they're working on implementing into the world and into the platforms. Again, guys, like I mentioned last week, this is a glimpse into a very, very future portion of the game. So it would be really cool if we could see some more updates or some more previews of maybe Phase 2, so we could get a little more excited about exactly what we're going to be playing next within the next iteration of the platform. Nevertheless, I know a lot of people were excited about this video. It does show they're continuing to work on things inside the platform, and with any hope, we can see a lot more content like this in the future. The Earth2 team is also under some pretty fresh scrutiny this week after bringing on a new dev who may have been involved in some questionable behavior in the past. Now, I won't claim to know all of the details on this. This is just going off of the rumblings I've heard from within the community, but from what I understand, one of the new devs they brought on previously had some run-ins with the YouTube community in regards to trying to silence some negative critics of a platform that they were working on, as well as possibly utilizing some assets that didn't belong to them. I don't know the validity or legitimacy of either of those claims. I do know that there was some rumblings going on. I've seen a couple videos come out about said individual. The one thing I have heard is that a lot of that occurred when they were a minor. So from that perspective, I can understand some of it. People, especially kids, aren't super receptive to criticism, especially overly negative criticism or overly strong hate. And if the individual was just a minor at the time, 16, 17 years old, I can understand why they might not have been able to handle that in a very professional manner. So from that perspective, that I can understand. If any of the other stuff's true regarding assets not belonging to them, etc., that's a little bit more serious and a little bit more concerning. So hopefully the dev team's aware of this. Hopefully they're doing strong vetting prior to bringing people on board, just to make sure that someone like that has either demonstrated the ability to turn over a new leaf, or is demonstrating an ability or something that makes them a very important asset and something that's worth taking that level of risk on to help further the platform. So there's probably no arguing that the timing was awful. It kind of seems like the Earth2 team has been having a rough bout the last few weeks in terms of just all of the negative criticism, And then when they try to make a move to improve the platform, they basically bring on someone who has their own sets of issues and baggage that comes along with it. So I have a feeling the Earth2 team wasn't aware of that beforehand. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't have brought him on board, especially given all of the negative criticism to date. I don't know the level of work this person does. For all I know, they're a really great developer. Nevertheless, I just thought it was a really interesting development, and I guess we're just going to have to keep an eye on it and see how they do within the company, how the Earth2 team responds to some of the criticism, and just how it plays out long term. The Sandbox announced their newest project update this week, and with it came information about their most recent land sale, as well as partnerships and some quality of life improvements to their Game Maker platform. All 1,300 lands available on the May 27th land sale were reserved in less than 15 seconds to a grand total of $2,700,000. It's a heck of a lot of money to make in 15 seconds. This included purchases by major musical artists as well as NFT and Metaverse platforms, such as deadmau5, Richie Hawtin, Zepeto, and Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen. They join an already impressive list of brands that includes Atari, Binance, Roller Coaster Tycoon, the Smurfs, and virtual land investment firm Republic Real Estate. They also announced new enhancements and quality of life improvements to the Game Maker application. Guys, this application is already extremely impressive, so any features or functionality that they add is just going to create the ability to provide more options to make a more elaborate and more immersive game experience on your land. So really cool to see that they're continuing to pump out updates for this on a quarterly or at least on a regular basis. So neighboring Metaverse My Neighbor Alice also announced their recent collaboration with the Sandbox. The collaboration sees the inclusion of a competition where users can win exclusive My Neighbor Alice themed avatars or NFT avatars that can be utilized within the Sandbox game. There's a series of entry steps that have to be followed in order to be entered to the giveaway. I won't include those here, but if it's something you're interested in, feel free to Google it and you should be able to find it pretty clearly. But nevertheless, it's really interesting to see metaverses like that starting to collaborate at this level, and it really just shows the level of collaboration, or the early level of collaboration, that we're already seeing, and the potential for some very elaborate long-term and in-depth complex elaborations as these platforms are fleshed out and as they progress further into their life cycles. Blockchain protocol Boson recently broke virtual land purchase records with a $700,000 purchase in Decentraland with the intent of building a virtual mall. Really curious to see how that shakes out, and I think it just shows some of the aggressive optimism that these companies are taking when it comes to virtual land and metaverse platforms and experiences. And I think it's interesting to see how brands are adopting this. I really do think it is going to play a major role in the relationship between consumers and brands as time goes on. Sotheby's, the world's largest auction house, just announced their virtual replica of their London-based HQ within Decentraland. As you guys might recall, Decentraland was one of those virtual land platforms that benefited pretty heavily from the crypto boom that occurred a few months back. At the start of the year, their coin was floating around 22 cents, but it was able to reach an all-time high of above $1.20, which is pretty impressive. As of the time of releasing this video, the coin is still sitting at around 75 cents. So if you've bought any of Decentraland's cryptocurrency, it's called Mana, and you had bought that at the beginning of the year, you would have seen 3x returns at this point, which is pretty impressive for a coin based on a virtual land platform. And that's not the only success we've seen there. We also saw some success earlier this year with the My Neighbor Alice coin when it went live. So I do think that that just kind of shows that there's a huge potential, not only from a consumer perspective and from a brand perspective, but possibly from an investment perspective when it comes to some of these metaverse platforms. And I think that's something really interesting to keep an eye on. OVR.ai this week announced that they're going to be having a live and ongoing partnership with the Chainlink blockchain. For those unfamiliar, OVR.ai is a virtual land platform that allows users to buy land on a grid via tiles. But once they purchase this land, they can create VR experiences that are geographically tied back to those locations in the real world. Sound familiar? I know it sounds familiar to me too. OVR.ai is actually pretty far along in their roadmap. They've already released some tools that allow users to create basic level experiences. So from that perspective, it shows that they have some commitment to long-term development. And I think it'll be really interesting to see what other types of news and updates we see come out of OVR.ai, because I do think that they're a very interesting platform that's also very new and very under the radar at the moment. Ready Player Me avatars are now available to be utilized within Somnium Space. This week, they announced that the Ready Player Me virtual avatar tool has officially been integrated with the Somnium Space platform, allowing users to create avatars utilizing that tool within the metaverse. Ready Player Me avatars are already used in platforms such as Mozilla Hubs, Virtual Chat, and Meet in VR. So it's interesting to see that Somnium Space is added to the list of platforms to which this avatar is accepted, and I imagine that list is going to grow as these integrations go on. Secret Sounds has partnered with Live Nation and announced their Splendor XR Virtual Concert Festival. This is probably the most elaborate and impressive virtual concert experience that's been announced to date. It's going to be a 2-day event that's headlined by Khalid and The Killers. Ticket packages are already available on sale, and details of the event state that users are going to be able to move from stage to stage in a virtual festival ground. They're going to be able to set their schedule, they're going to be able to hang out with their friends at this concert, and it's going to be accessible from whatever screen the user prefers. So it sounds like it's going to be available on smart TVs, smartphones, as well as PC. So I'm really curious to see how that shakes out, because I think virtual concerts specifically have a ton of possibility and a ton of potential in Metaverse and virtual land platform. So I took a look at the ticket packages, and while there's the general ticket packages that just give you access to the virtual concert, they also had larger ticket packages that also included real world items like posters, towels, lanyards, things like that. I think that that's really cool, and it's just a way of bringing something like this, a virtual experience, into the real world and kind of blurring the lines between what's provided from a virtual level and what's provided from a real world level. It's basically attending a virtual concert, but also receiving physical items as a result of attending that kind of show proof that you attended that virtual concert. If you've ever been to a Warped Tour or a large music festival, you know that by the end of the day you leave with a backpack full of swag. So I think it's really cool that they're trying to replicate that experience even with a virtual concert. I think that we're going to see a lot more experiences like that pop up here in the very near future, because virtual concerts, guys, are a very untapped market right now. And I think they are ripe with potential, especially if someone can come in and do it right. So very curious to see how Splendor XR plays out. I very well might have to buy a ticket to this. Not a huge fan of many of the artists on there. There are a lot of indie artists, etc. But that being said, I appreciate the concept, and that's something I can get down with supporting. And that was all I had this week, guys. I know there was a lot of things to go over. Virtual land and metaverses are kind of exploding. The news has been relentless recently, and that's kind of what prompted me to change the format of this video from just Earth2 news to expanding to other metaverse and virtual land platforms. Admittedly, guys, I was having a hard time coming up with some topics to cover in these weekly updates when it was just focused on Earth2, so I feel like expanding it a little bit, focusing on Earth2 while including some of the other virtual lands and metaverses will give me an opportunity to still bring you guys that useful information, while possibly bringing you guys some more useful information and information you might not have been exposed to otherwise. So let me know if you guys like this video. Curious to hear your thoughts down below, as always, so make sure to comment down below. Make sure to comment down below so you can get entered for the NFT giveaway. Other than that, guys, I want to thank you for checking out this video. I hope you have a fantastic day, an excellent weekend, and until next time, we'll see you soon.